नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So today we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 14th, and text we will read today 57 and 58. However, I will read the verse 57 and then सर्वेषामपि वस्तूनां भावार्थो भवति स्थितः तस्यापि भगवान् कृष्णः किमत्तद् वस्तु रूप्यताम्. Translation. The original unmanifested form of material nature is the source of all material things and the source of even that subtle material nature is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. What then could one ascertain to be separate from him? And text. Please repeat after me. Samāśritā pada-pallava-plavaṁ mahat-padaṁ puṇya-yaśo mura-areḥ bhavāmbudhir vatsa-padam param padam pada-pallava-plavaṁ yad vipadāṁ na teṣām samāśritā pada-pallava-plavaṁ mahat-padaṁ puṇya-yaśo mura-areḥ bhavāmbudhir vatsa-padam param padam pada-pallava-plavaṁ yad vipadāṁ na teṣām samāśritā pada-pallava-plavaṁ mahat-padaṁ puṇya-yaśo murāreḥ bhavāmbudhir vatsa-padam param padam pada-pallava-plavaṁ yad vipadāṁ na teṣām samāśritā, having taken shelter, ye those who pada of the feet, pallava like flower buds, plavam which are a boat, mahat of the total material creation, are of the great souls, padam the shelter, puṇya supremely pious, yaśaḥ whose fame, mura-areḥ of the enemy of demon Mura, bhava of the material existence, ambudhiḥ the ocean, vatsa-padam the hoof-print of a calf, param-padam the supreme abode, Vaikuṇṭha, padam at every step, yat where, vipadāṁ of material miseries, na none, teṣām for them. Translation and purport. Translation. For those who have accepted the abode of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as mura-areḥ, the enemy of the Mur demon, the ocean of the material world is like the water contained in a calf's hoof-print. Their goal is param-padam, Vaikuṇṭha, the place where there are no material miseries, not the place where there is a danger at every step. Purport. The translation is taken from Srila Prabhupada's commentary on Bhagavad-Gita as it is chapter 2, text 51. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, this verse summarizes the knowledge presented in this section of Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Krishna's lotus feet are described as pallava, flower buds, because they are most tender and of a pinkish hue. According to Srila Sanatana Goswami, the word pallava also indicated that Lord Krishna's lotus feet are just like desire tree, which can fulfill all the desires of the Lord's pure devotees. Even exalted devotees like Sri Narada, who are themselves the great shelter for the conditioned souls in this universe, personally take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. Thus, it is natural that when Lord Krishna manifested himself as all the young boys and calves of Vrindavan, their parents were more attracted to them than previously. Lord Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure, and being all attractive, the ultimate object of everyone's love. So this verse is giving the conclusion of the subject matter presented in this part of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami was describing the Brahma Vimohan Lila, bewilderment of Brahma. And the first time we know how Brahma, first of all, he wanted to see the most attractive and sweet pastime of Lord Krishna. And for that reason, for that purpose, he did steal the calves and cowherd boys, friends of Krishna. And he hid them in somewhere in mystic way in some cave. And then some incident took place. Krishna manifested himself, expanded himself as cowherd boys, friends of Krishna, as well as calves. And then the original set of calves and cowherd boys, they were in the custody of Brahma, somewhere in the cave, in mystic way. And one set, Krishna manifested himself in his friends, cowherd boys and calves, and then Krishna entered in the cow sheds. And then something happened that it is known that every single Brajavasi, especially elderly women of cowherd women of Krishna, of Braja, they have motherly affection for their own children as well as they have affection for Krishna. And they were feeling previously their motherly affection was towards Krishna more than their own children. This was fact. They have attraction. They have motherly affection for their own children. But their motherly affection for Krishna was more than their own children. But one point, all the Brajavasi realized, especially the Brajavasi and the mothers, elderly mother, gopis, that their affection, their prem, their attraction increased in their own respective children, equally to the Krishna. They were loving, they have attraction, motherly affection for Krishna. But same time they were feeling that their motherly affection is on the equal level to Krishna with their own children also. And also they were feeling that our affection towards Krishna, Krishna was also original, Krishna was older, Krishna has expanded in the cowherd boy. Their affection increased. And here many in commentary it is mentioned that even Krishna was also realizing, feeling that his prem, love for Brajavasi, gopis and cows also increased. So this was really bewilderment. And Sanatana Goswami comments on this subject matter. How come that their prem, their affection increased towards Krishna and same time towards their respective children? The one apparent reason is that since Krishna was with them, they got opportunity to associate Krishna. Previously, every single elderly woman has one personal inner ambition. They will also they have long cherished desire. They were thinking, if Krishna had become my son, then certainly I would have taken care of Krishna just like Mother Yashoda takes care of Krishna. They have inner ambition, long cherished desire. So this, in order to fulfill their desire, Krishna has expanded themselves. However, this is well-known fact that Krishna is everywhere. As his impersonal feature is all-pervading. Besides, as a super soul, Paramatma, he is seated in everyone's heart, very close to us. Not that when Krishna expanded, then they got association of Krishna. Before, Krishna was there in everyone's heart, every Brajavasi heart as a Paramatma, super soul. So that time, of course, their love was, their affection was for Krishna. Because Paramatma, as a Paramatma, Krishna was residing right there in their inner part of their heart. So that prem, how come increase? Here Sanatana Goswami mentioned that, of course, as a impersonal feature, Krishna is with us. As a Paramatma, he is within our heart. But this time the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, in his original form, the ultimate reality, not as a Paramatma, not as impersonal feature, but Supreme Personality of Godhead, ultimate reality, ultimate attractive person was there within their life. And that is reason why their affection, their vatsalya, their prem, their love increased towards Krishna. They were not knowing, they were very much surprised how come that today our affection is on the equal level for both our own children and same time for Krishna. Because Krishna was in the shape of their own children also. So that is reason why their affection, their prem, their vatsal was increased. Because Krishna was there not as an impersonal feature, Brahmajyoti, not as a super soul, but Supreme Personality of God, ultimate reality was also with them. And so this, their long cherished desire, ambition, everyone, every elderly gopis were thinking, if Krishna had become my son, I would have taken care of Krishna just like Mother Yashoda. So that desire, that ambition was fulfilled by Krishna. And this is a nature of our tendency of inclination of love, that if it is not abstracted, it's no impediment, that certainly flow of our affection goes in the direction of Krishna. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhyaka Bhuna. Every single living entity, they have spontaneous attraction for Krishna. Which are Krishna Prem. How come that our Krishna Prem is not flowing in the direction of Krishna directly? Because some abstraction is there somewhere. If the abstraction blockage is removed, it goes in that direction, Krishna. Example is given in Vedic literature that in rainy season, water, rain, falls anywhere in the mountain, different places. But every single drop of the water, it has an inclination to rush in the seaside. It goes. It doesn't reach there on the sea because it is somewhere obstruction is there. So similarly, if our heart becomes completely pure, free from all contamination, then certainly our flow of prem, flow of affection, flow of prem goes in direction. So the Brajvasi, especially here, mention that cows, because the cow has also, they were thinking, of course they have affection for their own calf, but same time they have on transcendental level, they were also thinking that if Krishna had become our or my calf, then I would have fed Krishna just like Mother Yashoda feeds her breast milk to Krishna. So, after description of this verse comes, this is conclusion on samāśritā pada-pallava-plavaṁ mahat-padaṁ puṇya-yaśo mura-areḥ. Samāśritā, anyone who has taken shelter. Ashraya means shelter. Some ashraya means completely, fully, purely. If someone has taken shelter in the lotus feet of Krishna, pada-pallava-plavaṁ, mahat-padaṁ puṇya-yaśo mura-areḥ. Then what happens to that personality? bhavāmbudhir, bhava-ambudhir, ocean of material existence. It becomes the vast quantity of water is there. Either ocean is almost insurmountable with our own effort. We can't cross over the material existence. Unlimited, vast quantity of water is there. We can't cross it, unsurmountable. Bhavāmbudhir, existence of material suffering, material existence, it becomes vatsa-padam. In the rainy season, we have experienced that when it is surface is wet, when the cows or any animals walk over the surface of land, and with the land is soft, moisture, then there is a footprint. In case of cows, hoof-print. When hoof-print, it becomes a ditch, little place. And in that hoof-print, what happens is that water is contained. And when we are walking, effortlessly, ayatnata, we don't make any effort, additional effort to cross that water contained in the hoof-print of a cow. Very easily. So, if someone has taken shelter, lotus feet of Krishna, then whole material existence he can cross. Otherwise, it was insurmountable. We can't cross. But it without any effort, we cross. As when we are walking, there is some ditch is there, water is contained. So whole material existence, ocean of material existence, it becomes very small, insignificant. bhavāmbudhir vatsa-padam param padam yad vipadāṁ teṣām. So material existence is decreased. He becomes completely free from repeated cycle of birth and death, moksha, without any additional effort. And then he gets moksha, Vaikuṇṭha. His final destination is Vaikuṇṭha. In order to become qualified and entered in the Vaikuṇṭha planet, he needs not to do any other thing, any effort. Simply he has to take shelter in the lotus feet of Krishna. padam yad vipadāṁ teṣām. His destination is Vaikuṇṭha. You have taken shelter, lotus feet of Krishna, material existence completely eradicated. No suffering at all. He becomes qualified. His final destination is Vaikuṇṭha. Yad vipadāṁ teṣām. In Vaikuṇṭha, characteristic of Vaikuṇṭha is that there is no vipat, there is no danger. Otherwise, in this material world, padam, vipadāṁ. Here, where we are living, in condition, there is possibility of danger in every single step. If you want to remain here, we can't expect that अच्छे दिन आ रहे हैं. No, अच्छे दिन कभी नहीं आने वाले. Every single step there is vipadāṁ. So, in Vaikuṇṭha, there is no vipad. And in this material world, in every single step, there is possibility of vipad. samāśritā pada-pallava-plavaṁ. So here in this commentary, of course, disciples of Srila Prabhupada in this commentary, they are quoting Srila Prabhupada quote. Some characteristics of Krishna feet is described here. Mahat-padaṁ. The mahat-padaṁ shelter, great shelter. Of course, the mahat-pad also it describes the great saintly person like Naradji, Acharya. They are also mahat-padaṁ. For ordinary people in general, their feet is this shelter which must take if someone wants to make spiritual progress. It is necessary that that person must take shelter of a lotus feet of a great personality. Without taking shelter of the Vaishnava, it is not possible to cross the material existence. Mahatpad. But even the Mahatpad, great personality like Acharya Narad, they also take shelter of lotus feet of Krishna. Our shelter is lotus feet of Krishna, and at the same time, even the great Acharya, their shelter is also lotus feet of Krishna. puṇya-yaśo, extremely pious, auspicious, the lotus feet of Krishna. And Krishna, mura-areḥ, his name is Murari. Mur was a demon. We know one very famous Narakasur. Fighting between Narakasur and Krishna took place in his pastime. In the army of Narakasur, this personality, Mur, was a lieutenant, chief, one of the chief. Mur, there was a demon, and he was a lieutenant or chief in the army of Narakasur, and he was killed by Krishna. That is the reason why Krishna is considered to be enemy of Mur. The mura-areḥ. And here in this purport is mentioned about characteristic of the lotus feet. Saukumarja. In the feet, in the lotus feet of Krishna, Saukumar is there. Sukumar tender, very soft. And same time, Sayastha. Krishna's lotus feet are very much attractive. Here it is the bottom part of Krishna. Upper part is bluish, but bottom, soul is, here in this purport described the pinkish in hue, pinkish color, reddish, very attractive, very beautiful, and same time it is very fragrance, saurabh. In the lotus feet of Krishna, because devotees should take shelter of lotus feet of Krishna, and characteristics of lotus feet is, there is Saukumarj. Saukumarj means tender. Tender कहते हैं, सुकुमार, बढ़िया. And सौष्ठव है, उसमें attractive है, beauty है, and same time fragrance is there. Because here pada-pallava-plavaṁ, flower buds. Bud means partially open flower, that we call buds. Krishna, especially the feet and the toes or the fingers, they are pad-pal. They are like a boat. So simply if someone takes shelter of lotus feet of Krishna, the lotus feet of Krishna act as the boat, and that person very easily can get rid of material existence, material suffering, he becomes qualified to enter the Vaikuṇṭha planet. And again, there is no any possibility to take birth in this material existence. So, so here in this purport and this part of Srimad, of course, when Sukadeva Goswami was describing that the Brajavasis, the mothers and cows, affection increased towards their own respective children on the level of Krishna, then Parikshit Maharaj inquired, how come that their affection increased? So, in giving answer of this question, Sukadeva Goswami described this part of Srimad Bhagavatam. Samāśritā pada-pallava-plavaṁ mahat-padaṁ puṇya-yaśo mura-areḥ bhavāmbudhir vatsa-padam param padam yad vipadāṁ teṣām. Material suffering, material existence that is considered to insurmountable, like vast reservoir of water, ambudhiḥ, that becomes insignificant, becomes very small. Like you can understand the big, vast quantity of water is there, too much. But it decreases. As soon as we take shelter, lotus feet of Krishna, whole material existence shrinks and becomes water contained in the hoof-print of a calf. And that crossing is known, even sometimes we don't know that there was a water contained in hoof-print. Where we are talking and go, so whole this, so here description, Sukadeva Goswami described that if we take shelter of lotus feet of Krishna, then becomes ayatnatah, without any prayas, without any effort, we can cross this material existence. The elderly gopis and the cow, they have also, previously they have also affection, prem for Krishna, their attraction for Krishna. But when Krishna became expanded as a calf and a cowherd boys, then all the Brajavasis, they were feeling like submerged in the ocean of bliss. Because Krishna, when Krishna expanded himself in the cowherd boy, then every single evening when Krishna was entering in the houses, respected house of the Gopas, and the mother, always daytime they were feeling separation, the pain of, they were suffering due to the pain of separation from the children, boys and Krishna. As soon as they lifted their own children, now it was Krishna, in their life, and then the mother, they fed their breast milk to Krishna. Of course, they were not knowing, none of them was aware that Krishna had become our son, in the shape of our son. Krishna is there. So there. So say, Krishna is like a bliss, condensed milk, condensed bliss. Personified bliss was there in their life. Though bliss, ananda, sukha, happiness was emanating from the personality of Krishna, and they were in the touch of the whole Braja. for one continuous 1 year, it was flooded with motherly affection, and every single personality were submerged in that ocean of bliss. And also, since this pastime continued for continuous 1 year, Krishna manifested, expanded himself, and one point, original set of calf and cow has been brought together. This is 1 year, complete 1 year. In that particular period, Gargacharya gave some advice, Bhanguri, sorry, not Garva. How, why not all the girls of the Braj should be given in the marriage to their respective husband, so that whole in that period marriage has taken place. So Srimati Radharani, she was Srimati Radharani, and the name of Radharani's husband, Abhimanyu. That particular year, original Abhimanyu was in the cave of Brahma, somewhere. Who was in the form of Abhimanyu? Krishna was there. So that particular year, all marriage took place. So every single girl, Lalita, Vishakha, Champakla, they were married to their respective husband. But that particular year, that particular day, original Abhimanyu was not there. Abhimanyu was somewhere in the cave, sleeping, in the slumber, in the maya of Brahma. So every single girl were married to Krishna. Of course, they were thinking that I am going to get married to Abhimanyu, but Abhimanyu was not Abhimanyu somewhere. So that is reason why the original, real husband of every single girl of Brajavas Gopis was Krishna himself. So since that 1 year, and then of Krishna, all the old set of those, set of the calves and the one set of the boys were brought together. Though that is reason why in Srimad other Granth described that those boys has not like feeling. Abhimanyu has not like feeling that Srimati Radharani is my wife. Neither Radharani has like sentiment feeling that this present Abhimanyu is my husband. Their natural inclination was there. Their flow of their affection, love was towards the Krishna. That is reason why this pastime, Brahma Vimohan Lila, considered to be the one of the most confidential pastime of Krishna, childhood pastime of Krishna. Of course, Ras Lila and many pastimes important, but this one, especially for Vatsalya Bhava, motherly affection, this chapter considered to be the most confidential pastime of Lord Krishna exhibited in Braja as a childhood pastime, and of course, beginning of childhood, like previous part of childhood pastime and later part of childhood pastime, because this pastime took place for continuous one. It started when Krishna was 5 years old and ended when Krishna was 6 years old. Okay, so I think I should. And I see. ending class at 9 a.m., giving time for question and comments as well. So I should hear. If you have any comment or any question.
So this verse mentions that Vaikuṇṭha is, there are no miseries in Vaikuṇṭha. This verse mentions there are no miseries in Vaikuṇṭha. So how Jai Vijay were cursed by the Chaturkumar?
Vaikuṇṭha, literally meaning of Vigat Kuṇṭha. Kuṇṭha means anxiety, suffering. Where there is no anxiety, that place is called Vaikuṇṭha. Completely free from any kuṇṭha, any anxiety, any suffering. Question is how come and that we see some kuṇṭha was there in Chatuskumara. Kuṇṭha means they were very much angry, they were cursed. And in part of those Jaya and Vijay, they have also kuṇṭha, the pride, arrogance. The question is how come you are saying that in Vaikuṇṭha there is no Maya, but you say the personified Maya is there in both parts. They are very much arrogant. No, you can't enter in my house, in our house. You children go away. And they were considered to be self-realized. Still they got angry. So much they cursed them. No, you don't deserve to be there. They were thrown away. ढकेल दिए, नीचे गिरा दिए. The question is how we can understand the Vaikuṇṭha is free from any kuṇṭha, anxiety, anger, lust. There we also see. For minimizing for some, many things could be said, but I say they have not, it was happening in the gate, not inside. I am talking about inside. I did not say that in the gate also not. The outside, though on transcendental level there is no kuṇṭha, but if really want to understand, they were in outside, they have not entered. Outside the kuṇṭha is there. Kuṇṭha means suffering, anxiety, anger, क्रोध, pride is there. Anyhow, yeah, समझाने के लिए, हंसी के लिए.
There are 4 gates I heard in Vaikuṇṭha, east, west, south, north. So actually, first gate, then second gate, then third gate. So last time we happened in the first gate, second gate, third gate.
Okay, that later we have really limited time. Then other person.
When Krishna met all the Nanda Maharaj, he showed at Kurukshetra and then saw the gopis, and he was apologizing and don't be mad because I went away, I had to take care of family matters and eliminate the demons. He said, but I'm always in your heart. You're great yogis and many of them came from the spiritual world, but just by meditating on me in the heart, I'm always with you. So is there a special technique that we can use to meditate Krishna in the heart and always with us?
Precisely, please repeat your question. I could not get.
When Krishna was with the gopis, he was apologizing that he didn't come back. He went away from Vrindavan. He left them. He said, but you're always meditating, I'm in your heart, you're meditating on me, so I'm always with you, I'm never separate. So is there a special technique how we can meditate on Krishna in the heart so he's never away from us? Is it too complicated? Okay.
I understand question, but I want to think how I can penetrate inside. Of course, that pastime part when 5,000 years Prakat Leela here took place in this tract of land, and that time not even a single person accepted that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nanda Baba, not even a single person accepted, realized that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They were thinking, they identifying Krishna as he is the son of helpless, innocent, darling son of Mother Yashoda, son of Nanda Baba, our king and our queen, and we are subject. Nanda Baba is king and we are praja, subject. And since Krishna is so cute, so attractive, so beautiful, so naturally there was a affection, prem. It is son of our king. So this was understanding the Brajavasi. None of them accepted that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. Besides, even Krishna, while he was acting, he was displaying his pastime in Braj, he also identified himself as the son of Mother Yashoda, son of Nanda Baba. Never ever in his mind came that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this was done by the Yog Maya. By the influence of Yog Maya, Krishna was not like, he was not feeling that I am acting as the cowherd boy, but I am Supreme Personality of God. By the influence of the Yog Maya, even this knowledge, this realization of Krishna was also taken away, covered. When Krishna jumped in the Kaliya Harda, this lake, and at one point Krishna was in tight, ever tight grip of Kaliya serpent. Almost all Brajavasi thought that he is completely dead. We considered all the way Mother Yashoda crying came on the right here on the bank of Kaliya Harda. And she saw her only child, her only loving child, he was in the tight grip of Kali, most poisonous serpent grip. You can imagine the anguish, the dukh, suffering of Mother Yashoda. Her only child, right in the tight grip of the most poisonous serpent. And Krishna was unconscious. You can understand the anguish, suffering, mental suffering of Mother Yashoda. So, it appears that in a spiritual planet, anguish is there, suffering is there, dukh is there. Only different is that anguish, that suffering is realizable. Where our anguish, our suffering is not realizable. But in a spiritual planet, even that suffering is also realizable. For that reason, when Krishna left Braja, Vrindavan area, went to Mathura, at that time all the Brajavasi, the anguish, such a suffering was there. But that suffering was very much realizable, ashwadaniya. And that is considered to be the most elevated, sublime, desirable relishment. For that reason, even Krishna, in order to relish, in order to enjoy that pain of separation, Krishna himself again appeared here as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just to relish, experience that. So we see everywhere, the whole, everywhere anxiety was there. It was raining, thunderbolt was here, everyone shivering. When in the time of Govardhan Puja, Krishna stopped Indra Puja, started Govardhan Puja, that time everywhere suffering was there. So from morning to evening, Mother Jasoda, as soon as Krishna left Nandagam, along with cowherd boys, Mother Jasoda for 12 hours, or 30, at least 8 hours, she was suffering. Krishna has gone into forest. She was not knowing whether evening he will return safe or not. Always she was thinking, Gopi was thinking that must be the thorns and they were pinching in the feet of Krishna. So their suffering was there, always 24 hours. But that suffering was pleasing suffering. So something happened in transcendental platform. That is reason why inconceivable. It is not under our jurisdiction to understand the inconceivable pastime. That is reason why, anyhow, many things to say. How do I hear? So I think here stops. तो कुछ कहना चाहते हैं कि बाद में दे दीजिएगा, थोड़ा समय हो रहा है, हम लोग को मर्यादा का पालन करना चाहिए। तो ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की।